So today we got a question from a bro who wants to know, yo, Elliot, can 5x5 training give me the same kind of definition as I would if I did sets of 10 and 15? Well, depends on your definition of definition, bro. If you mean definition by striations, being able to see the muscle fibers when you get your body fat really freaking low, well, then 5x5 might be your go-to, bro. Here's what I mean. So first of all, we got to establish the fact that body fat is where it's at. So in terms of definition, if you're going to have great definition, that basically means that your body fat is low body fat. And that all happens in the kitchen, right? It's what you're putting in your mouth. It's tracking your macros, tracking your calories, and being in a calorie deficit, getting your body fat low enough that you can start seeing cuts and then ultimately striations in the muscle. Once that's established, then we got to take into consideration the type of hypertrophy we want to stimulate in the muscle. And if you want gross hypertrophy, meaning big puffy muscle, meaning the muscle is swelling up, well, then you're going to want to do 10 to 15 reps. You're going to want to do more of the high volume, high repetition stuff because it builds what's called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Sarcoplasm, plasma, freaking fluid in the muscle, right? In the tissue. And it gives the muscle a beautiful, nice round look. And I have nothing against that either. You know, I'm just making a case for 5x5 right now, which is a form of definition, but is it that HD definition? Is that a high definition? Is it the striation definition? Because if that's what you're going for, then you need to lift heavier because heavy weights actually build muscle fibers. They build, so what do we call it? So I said sarcoplasm, right? I gotta remember my definitions and shit, trying to sound smart. Sarcoplasm makes the muscle big and puffy. But myofibrillar hypertrophy is associated with building actual density in the muscle, adding more layers and layers of more muscle fibers. There's a difference there. They're both building muscle to a degree, but one is sort of temporary, like when you get the pump, right? And then there's the type of hypertrophy that's actually building muscle fibers. And that happens when you lift heavy. And I didn't really understand this until I asked my uncle one day, who was a bodybuilder, champion bodybuilder, did amazing things, taught me a lot of what I know. And I asked him, I said, "Oh, Uncle Elroy, when you're trying to get as shredded as possible for a bodybuilding show, how does that change your lifting?" And in my mind, I was like, oh, he's probably gonna say do high reps so that you're burning more fat and stuff like that. And he shocked me. He blew my mind. He said, you gotta start lifting heavier the more fat you're burning. He says, you gotta keep getting stronger as you're burning fat. And I totally didn't understand that, but now I understand it. It's because we want those striations. We want the shredding to come out, which, by the way, I'm not a striated bodybuilder, just talking to you, bro science and experience. All right? I'm just talking about the shit that I think I know, right? I talked to a bodybuilder, but my uncle was a bodybuilder. That's what he told me. So, you know, this is just my attempt one more time to convince y'all that lifting heavy is important. It's critical. There are a lot of guys that just want to just poo-poo heavy lifting because of all kinds of weird reasons, one of which is they say that you don't build muscle. You don't build muscle. You're not going to look like a bodybuilder when in fact that is not the case. And if you look at the bodybuilders pre-steroid days, I'm talking about like Bill Pearl and Bart Starr and Reg Park. These guys, Reg Park apparently was like Arnold Schwarzenegger's like mentor. These guys lifted heavy. They lifted with barbells. They did 5x5. They didn't have the machines. They didn't have the anabolics. They didn't have all the technology that we have today. They had pure hard work and barbells. That was it. And those dudes always lifted heavy and they just look dense. If you want to look dense, you got to lift heavy iron, bro. That's all. I hope that helps, dude. Done.